Okay, here we go.
Now from Atlanta News First Plus, this is Sports Tonight.
Welcome into Sports Tonight. I am Bailey Burmaster with your Monday edition of Sports Tonight. We have a lot to get through tonight because it is a jam-packed Monday. Let's start with the fact that the Falcons are on Monday Night Football for the first time in 3 seasons. If you look at Monday Night Football and Kirk Cousins on Monday Night Football, not the greatest of stats. That means that Kirk Cousins is 3-10 on Monday Night Football. I believe in primetime games he has a 12-20 record. He's played the Eagles on Monday Night Football twice and has never won. One was kind of a down game, and one was more of an up game. So definitely something worth watching tonight. Looking to bounce back after a poor offensive performance from the Falcons offense, looking to get more players involved like Drake London. The run game was pretty much non-existent. But let's hear what Kyle Pitts had to say ahead of this one before kickoff comes later tonight.
Any more juice since this is kind of a home game for you coming up?
I would say I'm more excited. It's first primetime game. All the games are primetime, but it's Monday night, so that's pretty cool. Going back home, never played in Lincoln, but I watched the game, so it's pretty unique, and we're just going to take it day by day and game by game.
Were you an Eagles fan growing up?
Yeah, I was.
Yeah. So you weren't those green shorts?
No. I knew I shouldn't have worn these today.
Is that meaningful in any way? Like playing the Eagles. I know it's a primetime game. It's a big game for y'all. Is that a big one?
I'll just say more of just the people I haven't seen in years just coming out and supporting and just going out there trying to get the win.
How many people do you think you're gonna have?
Oof. I think it's gonna be a nice bit.
Like a dozen, more than a dozen?
Maybe around like 20, maybe.
20
maybe. Yeah.
Hitting you up for tickets?
Yeah. I defer that to my mom and dad.
How do you assess just this 0-1 primetime game, big spot? I know you guys weren't happy with how the offense played last week. How do you assess this?
It's a new week and just attack it different and find out what we some of our mistakes from last week and trying to address them this week.
How you feel about the chemistry you've been able to build with Kurt up to this point, including last week as well as going into this new game here?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's stopped. It's just continual growth, and just each week, each day, and each practice, just continue to find out more and more in the game now in the season. It's past camp and seeing how he operates.
How you feel about your targets last week?
I wouldn't. It's really just about the offense, just trying to go out there and score. And if the ball finds me, then it does.
If you could boil down like last week's offense, like to what, one thing that went wrong, what would you say it would be?
Execution.
Sorry if you've been asked this already, but you get to go home and play in front of a Philly crowd that I'm sure know you very well. How excited are you to be able to show out for a community that you grew up around?
I'm very excited. It'll be a very intense and loud and just theatric game, and it'll be fun to compete.
Did you ever go to any Eagles games growing up at all?
Yeah, when I was a junior, we played against. We watched them play when they won the Super Bowl against the Vikings, and that was really loud. So that was a unique experience.
Do you have a lot of family and friends that are going to be in the area ready to come up and watch you play?
I do. It's going to be pretty fun.
Is it something special to be able to do so on a Monday night game? I mean, I know last year didn't have any primetime games, but to now be able to show what this team can do in a national spotlight, what does that mean to you personally too?
I mean, yeah, like you say, national spotlight, everybody will be watching us. We're the only game on, so it's just time to play and put on the show.
What kind of adjustments did you guys make this week offensively? Is it just kind of like like you said, execution was the issue, or were there kind of some tweaks this week?
I would just say, yeah, just minimizing some of the turnovers we had and mental errors we had as an offense, and just capitalizing on those for this week.
Anything else?
Yes. So, Kyle, speaking of last week, you feel like if you had to, and I know you guys assess your performance week to week, you feel like Do you feel like you got open more so? Do you feel like your touchdown, for example, that you caught down there, looked like more of a coverage breakdown, than anything? How did you feel just play to play? Did you feel like you were getting the best of your matchups? You feel like, it was maybe more a result of the pressure that was coming up front on the quarterback? What's your assessment there?
I think, with the offense we were running schematically and the defense we were going against, we were getting open just, like you said, some of the pressures and some small turnovers and things like that.
And what are you anticipating? I mean, I know you guys, study your opponents week to week. What are some of the things that you're anticipating based off the strengths and weaknesses of this defense you guys are about to go against? What are you looking at? What do you guys anticipate going into this game?
I mean, it's obvious the front seven is awesome, and they play hard. Vets in the front seven, and then the back end as well. They have a pretty good.
At a rather really good time for Georgia with those injuries for Carson Beck and Tate Ratledge. They were able, Ratledge did not come back into the game. However, Carson Beck just powered through. Both of the statuses for those players will remain to be unseen as they take this bye week, but then they have Alabama on the other end. Let's head to the sound from Kirby Smart and Carson Beck after they were able to get that 13-12 win in Kentucky.
I tried to tell everybody all week, but nobody would listen to me. I know what this team's made out of. I know how tough he coaches. I know several of his coaches on the staff. I've known them for a long time. I have tremendous respect. And when they get disrespected like they did last week and they listen to it for a week, they come out ready to play. And I think our kids listened to that. I think they understood it, but I also think it's a tough environment to play in. I'm so proud of the resiliency our kids showed. They never flinched. We thought this would be a blow-by-blow game, and we talked all week about blow-by-blow, deliver more blows than them. And we said the first chop of the tree doesn't chop the tree down. It takes sometimes 272 axe chops, and it took every single one tonight to get the job done. What I will say is I'm proud of our team. I'm proud of our leadership. I honestly believe we won this game with culture, and the culture of our team never panicked. I saw more leadership tonight than I've seen all season, and you guys have asked me 1,000 questions about this team this, what about this team this. I don't know much about this team, but I found out more tonight than I've known up to this point, and that makes me extremely proud of how they responded and how they handled some difficult situations.
Kirby, you always say it's very hard to win in the FCC. How important was it for your team to face this adversity early in the season and overcome it?
Well, I'd rather not face it. I mean, I didn't prefer it to be that way, but I also told people all week, I knew it. I mean, we played on the road at Missouri 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I guess, 3 years ago, I don't know when it was. And then we played on the road at Auburn. I get it. When you go on the road for the first time in the SEC at night and you keep a team in the game, you don't start fast. It's going to be a challenge. And we responded to the challenge. And the best thing is we got a lot of things we can work on now.
Yeah, did the severity of what team still?
Don't. I was told ankle and knee, but I don't know which is worse or how bad it is. I don't know much about it.
Kirby, you guys have come up here in November and had these kind of tussles. Is there something stylistically about Kentucky that's a difficult matchup for you up here?
I don't know that. I mean, stylistically, they're physical, and that's always a tough style. They play really well. I feel like against us, I got a lot of respect for Mark. His defense does a great job. They do a really good job. They're good football coaches. There's not like a weakness. You don't look out there and go, oh, they got this in special teams. They got this. I think people looked a lot at like last year's game, and a lot of things happened bad for them early in last year's game, and it kind of snowballed and got away from them. And I know playing up here, that can happen to you. Like, there were moments that it was starting to slide for us, right? Penalties, things happening, but we were resilient, man. We responded to them, and that's a true sign of a great fighter, is not how hard you punch, but what punches can you take.
Kirby, I saw you go over and embrace Vandegrift and also Jamon, and they were some pretty long embraces. You shared some words. What was it for you just to be able to see them again?
I love those kids. Those kids were tremendous for our program. I mean, we don't probably win 2 national championships back to back without those 2 guys. I mean, Brock did all kinds of things to help our team, scout team. He was a competitor. I mean, the guy cried in my office when he told me he had to leave. It ate away at him, and I'm really happy for him, and Pop as well. Pop and I had a great relationship, and we were fiery with each other at times, but he was also a tremendous leader, and I just respect Pop.
With the injuries that you guys have in this game, how important is the bye week just coming up for you guys to kind of rest and recover, getting ready for Alabama?
Yeah, I don't know that we can rest and recover. I mean, that's what people think bye weeks mean. We got to find a way to improve and get better. You know, we were really beat up coming into this game, you know, specifically at one position, and it was a really tough week for us, and got a lot of respect for the guys that stepped up and played.
What'd you make of the way your defensive line played today, specifically Tyranny and Dawkins?
I had to watch it and see. I mean, I felt like he played good, but I mean, you know, I can't say without seeing the tape. I know he played more snaps than he's ever played. Christian Miller, Nas, I mean, they manned up and played a lot of snaps. We knew going into the game, if we couldn't get 3 and outs and they were going to sustain drives, it was going to be a tough game. We're going to have to score on offense because we didn't have the players to play a 70, 80 snap game defensively, and it kind of turned out that way, that we had to, you know, we're just beat up right now.
Xavier McLeod returns. How big was that for the defensive line?
It was good. I don't know how he played, but it gave us, you know, I don't know how many he gave us, 15 snaps. I'm guessing maybe 20. I don't know, but whew, I'm glad he was able to go, and the training staff did a tremendous job to get him back to that point.
You said you learned a lot about your team today. From your perspective right now, what's the biggest thing you learned?
Toughness, resiliency, response, leadership.
They give you an explanation on Jalen's penalty?
I think they said he drove him into the ground. Jalen didn't feel like he did. I mean, Jalen's not a violent person in regards to that, but they said he kind of finished him and drove him into the ground. I actually never saw it. I don't know.
What change did you see with the offense in the second half after kind of a slow first half?
Well, I thought we got on rhythm a little bit. When we hit plays, we were able to do some drop back passing. We hit a couple plays. We went fastball with it, but we never really found any rhythm the whole night. You know, and that's disappointing because we're a better offense than we played tonight, and I can't answer why. I have to watch it and see, but we're better than we played to.
How big was Trevor on that one touchdown drive you had today?
Oh, huge. The guy ran. I mean, he made something out of nothing about 8 times. I mean, some of those were some of the best runs we've had all year because people standing in the hole unblocked, and he's making them miss and getting extra yards, and there's a lot of respect for the way he played.
To go back to the defense, how did you see the resiliency from that group, like you said, as banged up as they were, and keeping Kentucky out of his own hole with the 4 field goals?
Yeah, felt like it was a bend but don't break kind of scenario. You know, kept giving up plays, but you know, the one thing I thought Schumann and the defensive staff did a tremendous job game planning. I thought he called a really good game. He helped our players. A couple drives or penalties would have been punts and not 3 points, and I think the game would have been better for us. But I'm proud of the way they played. They bowed their neck when they had to, and we took away a lot of shots. They are a shot team, and they have extremely fast wideouts. And I thought we covered the shots well.
Are you concerned about penalties right now?
Yeah, I think everybody in the country is. I watched games today, and it was like crazy. And we're higher than we've ever been. I watch all these games; they're higher than they've ever been. And I'm like, what's going on? Like we have been a low penalty, smart team, and I can't figure it out. I don't know if it's the way it's being called. Is it being called tighter? Because everybody's got more, but we certainly got to reel it in some.
What went into the decision to bring Daniel Ayers here and then not play him, and how do you deal with that with the availability report? What's the protocol for such a situation?
Daniel was available tonight. It's a coach's decision. It's my decision.
Are you worried the offense is playing with fire a little bit with the slow starts and kind of, both games the defense is
Playing with fire. Define playing with fire. Not scoring in the first half? Yeah, I wouldn't call that playing with fire. I'd call it not playing. Right? Like playing with fire is like I guess you're talking about dangerous. I'm talking about playing with your hair on fire and playing hard. I do think they play hard. I think that we have a really good offensive staff. We have a really good offense. We have people around them, and we got a good quarterback. We got to do a good job and go out and execute. And I mean, say what you want about Kentucky's defense. Kentucky's defense is pretty good to me. We'll judge that at the end of the year. I think people are looking at it the wrong way of the South Carolina game. I actually think Kentucky's got a really good defense, and I think Clemson's got a really good defense, and I think we got a really good offense. So we got to do a better job of starting faster.
How much will playing under the lights here in the atmosphere help your guys, especially the young guys who've never experienced it, as you go to Bryant-Denny?
Well, we get to go to Bryant-Denny and many other places on the road this year, so it's going to be an adventure every time we go out on the road. I mean, it's a tough schedule, guys. When we got it, I knew it. I mean, the first game I pointed at was Kentucky because everybody was talking about the other three on the road. I'm like, guys, we're going to go to Kentucky on the road. And people just don't credit them because of they had turnovers against South Carolina. They didn't play real good against South Carolina. That team was going to play tonight, and they did, and we responded.
What did you see from Carson tonight in terms of resiliency?
Well, Carson is a great leader. He didn't panic. He made plays when he had to. Let's look, the last drive of the game, he had to go play and make throws. He did. He ran the ball. He put us in the right plays. He's a really good football player that we put a lot on and asked to do a lot. We got to do a better job protecting him, and we got to put him in better situations.
How important was Jalen for you guys tonight to kind of heat up Vandegrift, especially with the defensive line being thin?
I think he did a good job. I don't know. I don't get to see it as much. I mean, I thought he was back there in the backfield a lot. He's playing really hard. He is a natural-born leader, and he's affecting people on the sideline with positive energy and loves the game. So, the kid is just a remarkable kid.
Did you get a chance to watch any Alabama in an early game today, just to, your next opponent?
No. I mean, I watched a few games. I don't think I even saw that game. That's the last thing on my mind right now.
Is it more challenging with a night game? Like, you have to, so much downtime before it. Like, what are you guys doing to try to, make sure?
Well, both teams have to do it, so it's kind of balanced, It's not like one of them doesn't have to do it. So I talked to Mark about it. They do things, we do things. I mean, to me, the only thing the night thing does is bring the atmosphere up a little higher because fan base is sometimes inebriated.
Coach, what went into the decision to take that delay of game right there instead of kicking a 47-yard field goal? What all are you going through your mind right there?
Yeah, we're sitting there thinking if we miss it, where they get the ball, and if they miss it, they still need a touchdown to win. It's a long field goal. They can block it and score. Bad things can happen. We can punt the ball, play with our defense, which we think is really strong. We think we got a great 2-minute defense. We can also punt and milk the clock. Field goal is going to be 3 or 4 seconds. If that ball hits the ground and rolls like we wanted it to, the game may be over or closer to over, and just felt like it was a safer play.
And during that time, that last 2 minutes, was someone in your ear, or were you just eyeballing it on the clock the whole time? Because it kept sort of changing, and there was a penalty, and there was situationally the last 2 minutes of the clock.
I don't understand what you're asking.
Was someone talking to you from the booth? The situation's changed slightly. Was a penalty?
We're always talking from the booth.
But they weren't counting you down or anything?
Counting down on what?
Seconds. How much would be left if you punted? How much this?
Oh, yeah, we do that every time. That's standard operating procedure, 100%. I mean, we knew once they had the review, they got us a little bit on the review because when they reviewed it, they had called timeout. They didn't tell us they took the timeout away. So we had a mishap in that we went up there to snap the ball thinking it had been a timeout so the clock would be stopped. So Carson snapped the ball with 10 to 12 seconds that would have gone off the clock, which is a huge mistake. Just infuriates me that we did it. But it happened, and it was a little bit of a communication error because we assumed there was a timeout. Once they went to the review of the fumble, there was not a timeout, and they were going to start the clock. Well, Carson wasn't thinking the clock was going to start. Therefore, the game could have been over or closer to over, and that's something I take a lot of pride in that we just screwed up. But that has nothing. I mean, your question is, were we talking about it? Yeah, we were talking about it. If we got one more first, we'd have been really close.
4 straight games where you guys haven't given up a touchdown. You guys talk about keeping opposing teams out of your end zone, but why do you think you guys have been able to execute that and keep that at that?
Good red zone defense and staying away from explosives. I mean, look, football's hard these days. Our defense takes a lot of pride in how they play. I think our defensive staff does an incredible job. They work really hard on game planning for people, and I mean, we're going to play better and better offenses. We got to get better and better, but it's pretty hard to do. I mean, I don't know if anybody in college football has been able to sustain that. It's just hard.
Time for one more question.
Golden get the ball to Branson in that situation for the touchdown.
Well, it was a rotation. I mean, Trevor was tired. Trevor had driven down there, and I don't remember exactly the situation, but I think Trevor was gassed, and we stuck Branson in there, and he had a little juice. He made some people miss, and really physical run that I was really proud of. I mean, ETN played dinged up tonight, and just proud of the way he stuck it in there and played, and the other backs supported him because they can't all be in there, at the same time. So this is a big win for our program. I'm proud of our university, and we're going to keep chopping and get better. That's the next step. Thanks.
To win on the road in the SEC, but can you tell me what adjustments did you guys have to make in order to pull off a win?
Yeah, no, like you said, it's not easy, especially on the road. I think you go back and you look at our two first road SEC games the past 2 years. Missouri 2022, dogfight. Last year, Auburn, dogfight. This year, dogfight. We knew that it was going to be a dogfight coming in. We knew that it was going to have to be blow by blow. Obviously, there's things I think we can fix. Got to watch the film and try to improve on those. But, I mean, they're a physical team, and there's a lot of respect there, but we were able to pull it out.
What can you say about your defense? They still have not given up a touchdown. It was a defensive battle out there tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's unbelievable, especially with guys down. I mean, you look at our D-line, there's freshmen stepping up. You got freshmen all over the field. I mean, guys getting put in places and fighting through injuries and all of the above. But no, super proud of them and the way they're able to play tonight.
What did it mean for you to see Brock Vandegrift, one of your best friends out there?
Yeah, I mean, obviously awesome for him. Proud of him. I had a pretty good game tonight. Haven't seen him in forever. Actually, didn't get to talk to him. Mad I didn't get to see him after the game, but no, obviously proud of him and best of luck to him in the future.
A lot of us were curious. What was that halftime conversation like with Coach Martin and the players, and just what was said to create the second half?
Yeah, kind of what I just said earlier, that we knew that it was going to be a physical battle, and they were playing pissed off. They were playing angry, and we knew that we were going to have to come in here and try to be physical, and we were able to do that in the second half and squeak it out. So a win is a win, and obviously I'm really proud of the guys.
How's your shoulder feeling? It looked like maybe it was a little bit of a tough hit there, and of course you have the bye week coming up. How big is that?
Yeah, thankfully we have a bye week, so we'll see. Yeah, no, I'll be fine, but no, we'll see.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much, Carson.
What is it about coming here? I mean, since you've been here, I think the last 2 times it's been close games, despite being favored by a lot. You get some kind of weird mojo in Lexington. What do you think it is about when the Dawgs come here?
First and foremost, I think first road game is always difficult. We've got, Atlanta isn't really a road game. We played last week at home, obviously. We got a ton of guys that this is their first ever road game in the SEC, and it was a great environment tonight. And especially when you play the Kentucky defense, they're going to challenge you. They're going to be really physical, and you got to be able to try to run the ball, and then you got to be able to try to hit your shots, and you got to be able to play defense. And obviously we were able to do that tonight. Probably not at our best, and I think there's a lot of areas that we can improve on. But being able to come in on the road in the SEC is never something that you should be sorry for.
How big of a role do you think Pop had in this game? Him being familiar with, I know things changed, but just him being familiar with you and the rest of the guys.
Yeah, obviously, he's played against us a ton. I don't know how much of, I wouldn't say it's an advantage by any means. Obviously, he's doing what he's coached to do, in his defense. That'd be a question for him, so I don't know.
Carson, you mentioned improvement. What are the areas that you guys need to improve?
It's like the environment. They're just a very good team. They're very physical. They play with relentless effort, and they're going to keep coming and keep coming. So they're a very good squad. I give them nothing but props, and I just believe that they came out with the right energy, and we just responded. We was fortunate to come out with the W. I got a number of props to them, and Mark Stoops, and Coach Mark Stoops, so.
What was the momentum like at halftime, and what was set in there to really kind of change things in the second half?
Coach Kirby really just came up to us and just was like, we just got to keep chopping wood, win moment by moment. It's not that easy to win on the road. We was in Kentucky's house today, so we just had to kind of just keep chopping wood. We had to be able to take a blow as well as give a blow. So, and I feel like they played a phenomenal game. Physical, real by the book, and we just so happened to come up with the W.
How big of a win is this for your team, though, because you were able to face some adversity early on and overcome it?
I feel like this is going to make us closer, and it's going to show what we have to work on moving forward. So Monday, we're just going to go see the doctor, and everything that we feel that we got to work on, we're going to work on, and we got to prepare for our next opponent coming up. Luckily, we got a bye week, so, we get some recovery, get an extra little week of practice, and just come back stronger for the second quarter of the season.
What was it like seeing some former teammates?
Back to it, and I recognized the defense, and then whenever my man go in, I just knew that it was going to be somebody coming across on the mesh route, and then whenever I seen it, I just triggered, and make the play.
You want to put the fear in those guys when you hit them?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, man.
No problem.
Oh, Vicky, you got something?
What's it say to you guys as a unit defensively, just being able to ice out the game and close out with big time opportunities? Anytime they had an opportunity to
Right.
put the game away, you guys stood up and said,
Right.
What's it say to you guys as a unit?
I mean, we most definitely stay composed. Like that's one of our team core values is to stay composed, and that's exactly what we did. You know, no matter how much adversity that we faced, we just kept on pushing and pushing and pushing, and then we just came out. Yes, sir.
All right, switching gears to baseball taking place tonight. 4-game set against the Dodgers at home at Truist Park. Atlanta was able to get the first 2 games, but the Dodgers come back to win Game 3, 9-2. They are back at it at 7:20 tonight. The Dodgers win, they'll split the series. Still a lot to watch in that last spot for the NL playoff spot, and the Mets are right there with the same exact record. They play each other in about a week, which will be a huge matchup between the two that ultimately decides who's in and who's out between those two. But let's hear what Snit had to say pregame.
No problem.
No, I mean, we'll just I think take it a day at a time, see how he feels. He'll play second base right now. He's scheduled to play second tomorrow and Wednesday. If all that goes good, I think he could join us in Miami.
What do you think about him bat riding in and out?
I think it's great if he's comfortable with it. Like I said before, I think it's got to be up to him. And we just know how powerful that right-handed bat is and how good it is. So it'd be kind of neat to see how it translates.
That's what he said. He'd only need a game or two, so he's probably hit some here against. Will hit some live pitching at all, or is just taking my BP at all, or no?
Just playing the game tomorrow.
Any idea what you would do with Witt?
No, I mean, there's a couple of options I guess we could do. Haven't really talked about it yet, but
I guess nice to have that versatility that he has.
yeah.
What could Ozzie do for you? Just add that.
Well, I mean, it's potent at bat. I mean, I think he could help. We'll take any help we can get scoring runs. That's for sure. And I kind of could see him in the middle of the order, hitting behind Matt, being a really good, lengthening the lineup a little bit. Even if it's right on right, I mean, I feel good about him doing it. Honestly, I think he'll be fine.
Rangers are about, this is a little off topic, but the Rangers are about to be eliminated, so we will have another year of World Series champ not repeating. So I wanted to know your thoughts. This is the longest drought has been without a repeat champion. So think about that, and if you could speak to your experience in 2022, you had a good season, but just weren't able to do it.
No, I know, and it's a lot of things got to go right to pull that thing off, as we saw in 21. There's a lot of things within the playoffs and the games that you play that have to go right. I mean, guys getting big hits, things going your way, making plays, keeping guys healthy. So it's hard. It's once you get in, and we saw then, the 5 days off that we've done the last 2 years is not conducive to keeping things going either, I don't think. So, I think it's a tough thing to do. It's hard to win one, obviously, but I think to back it up. And I kind of looked at 20, how close we were to getting in, having an opportunity to play in the World Series then, because I really liked our club then, and I think we would have, but we were.
All right, well, that will do it for this edition of Sports Tonight. Make sure to join us throughout the week, and we will have all the latest sports headlines. Have a good night.